Hey there, folks. Do you have a digital book that you need to archive so you can have your own offline copy, or maybe you want to add it to OneNote so you can highlight things or mark things up in any way? Well, I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to use Python for this today, so let's get started. All right, we need to first talk about prerequisites, things you must have before you get started with this video. We're going to need a working Python 3 installation with pip. We're going to need some kind of a text editor or IDE. There's plenty of free ones out there, lots of good choices. I'm going to use VS Code, but you can use what you want. And you're going to need, obviously, access to a digital book. Web access, PDF, EPUB, any of those work, as long as you can show it on the screen and click a button to advance the page. Nice to haves? A second monitor is really handy for a project like this. You don't need it, you can use your main one, but it makes things just a little bit trickier. If you have a second monitor, you can display the book in a vertical preferred format so you can get the best possible image and make it as easy as possible. But you don't need it. You could work without it as well. So why would you do this? Well, to have an offline copy is a great reason. To protect the information that may be deleted, sometimes information is only available for a short time on the internet. Sites go away. It happens. Maybe you want to reformat the book. You want to cut some of the white space out. Or maybe you want to add it to OneNote. OneNote is a great place to store information like this. It allows you to use the highlighter tool, or you can draw on it or add your own text if you want to make notes. It's a really great way to do this. So we can do that with this project. So how does this work? First thing we're going to do is we're going to open the book in the largest possible format. Then we're going to tell Python what the page size is and where that advance button is so we can click on it. We're going to take a screenshot of the page using Python. We're going to save the screenshot and we're going to advance the page. And then we're going to repeat the entire process until we have all the pages in the book. So when we're all done, we will have an image for every page, and then we can work with them any way we want. Warning: stealing is not okay. Do not use these techniques to distribute protected works, to break terms of service from your source of books, or do anything that would violate any local, national, or international law regarding copyrighted works. That's not what this is for, okay? You have been warned. All right, let's get started. All right, folks, let's go ahead and get started here. The very first thing that I like to do is to create a virtual environment. That's going to allow us to keep our modules contained and so they don't pollute our global module space in Python. So I'm in VS Code. If you're in VS Code, you can bring up PowerShell by holding Control and tilde. And you can see I've already got some stuff in here. Let's start over. Okay, so we're going to start fresh. We're going to do a virtual environment. Python works like this. We'll do py. You might have to type out Python. In my installation, I can just shortcut py. Python -m for module. And venv, that's going to be our create a virtual environment command. And then we'll just give it a name. We're going to say book archive, BA, ENV. You can call it whatever you want. Okay, it's going to create that virtual environment for us. A nice little contained space for our modules. And there we go. Now we just activate it. Be sure to activate it. If you forget, then there's no point in even creating it. But in PowerShell, at least, I can do a /. And then you can tab these things in with PowerShell. It's really kind of nice. It's going to be our folder, scripts, activate. Just like that. And we'll activate it, and you can see that the virtual environment is activated. And we're good. Now we can go ahead and start. I'll make these a little bigger so you guys can see. We'll install our packages that we need. We need 3 packages here, so we're going to do... Actually, before we get started, this drives me nuts, but I'm just going to do it really quick. We're going to upgrade pip, because every time you install a virtual environment, it's going to tell you pip's out of date. So we're just going to do that really quick. Py module -m for module, pip install upgrade pip. Okay, that's just gonna upgrade pip for us real quick, and then we won't get little warning messages. It only takes a second, so saves me some frustration. There, that's all we needed to do. Let's install our packages. We'll do pip install. First one we're gonna need is pillow, Pillow. That's gonna allow us to work with the screenshotting. That's gonna do the screenshotting part for us. We're gonna do pip install auto GUI. Okay, that's gonna allow us to control our mouse. So we're gonna make it click on things or possibly press keyboard. It actually does all that stuff. It's very handy. And then lastly, we're gonna pip install mouse. Whoops. To record mouse movements. It's kind of a neat one too. So that's it. We've got all of our packages installed. We're gonna head and close this, and we can go ahead and get started on the code. So we're gonna start with our very first script here. We're just gonna call it book archiver. See, BER. I think that's close enough. It doesn't matter. It's just a name. All right, and we're going to start importing our modules first. And is this big enough? Let's see. There, we'll make it nice and big. Easy to see. All right, from PIL. That's our pillow library. For some reason, when you do the imports, it's going to just be called PIL. So we're going to import image grab. Okay, I'm going to need that one. From auto GUI. We're gonna need possibly two things. So we're gonna get click, and we are comma and press. We might need one or both. And then from time, this one's built in. We're gonna import sleep. Okay. Now, first thing we're going to need is we're going to need to know the size of the page. Now, I don't know that yet, so we're going to start by just putting an empty variable in here. So we're going to say ss region, underscore region. And it's going to be a tuple with 4 coordinates in it, but we don't know those yet, so we're just going to skip it for now. Now we're going to need a loop to go through. It's going to be our main bit of logic here. So we're going to say for count in range, and this is going to be our page number. So page 1 to, I don't know how big the book is yet, so we're going to say 1 to 100 just to fill in some numbers. We'll add in the specifics later. Now we're going to do ss for screenshot image. So we're going to screenshot an image of the page. We're going to use image grab. Okay, and then we're going to give it the region. So the region from above, which we don't actually know yet, but we'll fill that in a minute. And then we're going to say all screens. Because I have 2 monitors, I have to tell it all screens is true. And if you're doing this all on a single monitor, then you wouldn't need to put this part in. So that is getting our screenshot. That takes our screenshot for us. And we're going to say image, and we're going to save that to our computer. So we're going to do save. I'll do an F string here. F strings are super handy. They allow us to plug into variables into the middle of strings for us. Pages, and this is going to be a folder. Let's make this real quick. We're going to create a new folder. We'll just call it pages. That's where we're going to store all of our images, multiple plural. So pages / page, and this is where we're going to insert a variable here. So we're going to want count. So it's going to read page and then page number dot JPG. That's going to be the format we're going to save it in. The problem is count from range. Range gives us numbers, not strings, and so we're going to have to convert that real quick. str count. So this is going to convert the count number, which will be the page number, to a string, and it's going to put it right into the file name for us. Very, very handy. So now we're going to do, I'm just going to give a little bit of feedback to the user, because I always like to know that I can watch things as they go. Archiving page, do another F string, and we're going to do the same thing here. I'm going to say str of the count. Okay, and that's all it's going to do. It's just going to tell us that it's archiving a certain page, and it's going to do that over and over. Now we're going to need to click on either the advanced buttons, depending on your ebook, or we're going to need to use the keyboard to hit the arrow key to move the page. So we're going to take a screenshot of the first page, and then we're going to need to somehow advance that page to the next one. So we're going to use the click from PyAutoGUI. That's going to take an X and Y coordinate, which we don't know yet. So we're just going to leave that blank. We also might need to press a keyboard button to advance the page. So we'll put that in here. If we don't need this, we can comment it out. But typically you're using your right arrow key to advance a page, most PDFs and things. So we'll put in press right, and then we'll sleep for 2 seconds. Sleeping will allow us the page to load. So if you're if it's an online book, or if your connection is really slow, your computer's really slow, you might just need to let the program pause for a second for the page to fully load. And then lastly, we'll get out of that for loop, and we're gonna say, oops, if I can type, print, your book is now is now archived. And well, exclamation point, because that's really important. Oh, and unfortunately we are one line too many. My title is clickbait. We have 16 lines of Python. Sorry. That's the bulk of what we need. This is the whole program. It's just this. But we're going to need to know what the coordinates are so we can plug these in. And I have found the easiest way to do this is just make another little Python script, because Python's great for so many things. So we're going to make a new script. We're going to call it get chords, or get chords.py. Okay. Now I'm going to open the second screen, and we're going to find ourselves a book, and so we can show you what chords that we're looking for. So let's switch over. Now I'm running a second screen, so it makes it really handy to come over here to this second screen. And digital books are usually in a couple different formats: ebooks, EPUB, PDFs. Some of them are online. We're going to do a PDF today, which I have already downloaded from Open Textbook Library. That's a good one because they're not copyrighted works. They're just open source, open license books. So no worries about screenshotting these. But your book may be in a different format. Open Library has plenty of books here as well. And if you notice, these ones have a button to click to advance the pages, which is nice. But the best way to do this in a situation like this, you want to have every page of the book to be its own thing. So just showing one page at a time, and it's best to kind of scale these down just a bit so there's no noise on the screen from things like this. So the coordinates we're looking for the coordinates of the page of the book. So that's what we're going to tell Python where on the screen this is. So it's only going to screenshot just the page. And we're going to need to tell where the button is, if there's a button, so we can click. Now this book, unfortunately, does have some copyright on it. We're not going to get this one. That wouldn't be right. So we're just going to close this one. But you may see it in this kind of a format. I'm just showing you for example. We're going to use a PDF book here. And in this case, we don't have an advance button anywhere. There's nowhere to click. So we're going to have to use the keyboard to advance the pages, which we can totally do with Python. But we still need to know where the edges of the page are. So that's what we're going to get right now. We're going to do a little program called get chords, okay? And for this one, we're going to use our, and this is optional. You don't have to do this. You could actually just guess where the chords are on the screen if you want. We're going to import the mouse module. We're going to say positions. Positions, and we're going to say mouse dot record. And this function, when you call this, it's a blocking function, so you're not going to be able to do anything else in Python. It won't advance any further. But what it's going to do is it's going to record everything that's going on with your mouse. So every movement, every mouse click, I think scroll wheels and everything. But we're going to use this recording feature to bring our mouse to the edge of the screen and then click. Bring our mouse to the other edge of the screen, click. And if there's an advance button, we'll go down, we'll click there as well. And then to stop the record, you just hit the right click on your mouse and it stops the recording, and it saves it all to a list called, in this case, positions. And then we can loop through that list and find the information that we need. I'll show you, it's really neat. So once we have all of our mouse clicks and mouse positions, we're going to go ahead and loop through this. We're going to do a for count, comma, POS. That's going to be our positions in enumerate. Now, if you've never used enumerate in Python, it's really handy. It sends back two bits of data from the list, the index and the item from the list, or enumerable, whatever. In this case, we're using a list. So enumerate positions. So for every single item in the positions list, it's going to tell us the index and what's in that index. So we're going to say, and this is where it gets a little confusing. Let me type it out and then I'll explain what I'm doing. So if is instance POS mouse underscore mouse event dot button event. You may be able to guess what I'm doing here. And what is this guy? How did I do this? Right. POS dot event type equals down. Okay. Then we will print POS. No, we will print positions at the index of count -1. Now, let me explain what I did because it might be a little bit confusing here. So what we're saying is we're going through the list, and starting with the first one is the first item in the list, an instance of mouse event, button event. So is it a button event? Did I click a button? And also, is the event type the button click down? So you could have click down or mouse click up. We're going to do event type down. So did we click the mouse button on the screen? Okay, that's what it's asking. If we did, then we will print to the screen the item in the list that precedes that, the item right before that, because we move our mouse into a position and then we click. So we want to know the coordinates right before we click. That's going to tell us the information that we need. So let's run this. I'll show you how this works. VS Code has a nice little code running feature here, so I can just hit this and run it. Actually, did we save our file? I don't think that we did. Okay. Let's save our file, and then we'll run it. That might work a little better. There, now it's recording our mouse movement, so it's just pausing. We're going to go up to the upper left of the screen, and we're going to left click on our mouse. We're going to go to the lower right of our page, and then we'll left click our mouse again. And if we had a advanced button, then I would go down to that and I would click on that as well. I'm actually going to click down here in this empty space. I'll show you why in a minute. And then once we're all done, you can right click anywhere on any screen, and that's going to give us our coordinates here. And for whatever reason, it always seems to record one of them twice. I'm not really sure. I think it just records a double click for whatever reason. Anyway, we have all of our chords that we need. This is the information specific to this page that we're doing. So now let's go back to Book Archiver and start plugging these numbers in. So the screenshot region, we're going to use our first click was here at 2570, comma, 118, comma, and then we'll do our second one, which is the lower right, and we're going to say 3613. Hope this is right. We'll test it and we'll find out for sure. by 1734. Okay, that's our region. And for click, I'm going to go ahead and put in that very last set of coordinates as well, where it's just down outside of the screen. 1756, comma, 704. And that should be all that we need. All of our, oh, nope, stand corrected. We're going to need to put in our book numbers. Those go right here. If you can see here, there are book numbers. It's goes up to 197. So we would do 198. You always do one more than the last. That would get the entire book. But let's test it before we go any further. Let's just get the first 10 pages of the book. And then we'll show you how this works. So we go 1 to 11, save. And then we're going to run this script. And in theory, it should bring the mouse over and click down here. Okay? It'll screenshot the first page first. Bring the mouse down and click down here. And then it'll press the right button on our keyboard to advance the page. And then it'll sleep. And then it'll keep doing this. I'll show you how. And don't touch your mouse while you're doing this. All right. Archiving page 1. And something is wrong. Okay. Okay. PyAuto GUI. If you run into a problem, you can drag your mouse up to the upper left of the screen, and it will stop. It'll exit the loop that it's running in. So it's a failsafe that's built in. We did get a few pages, but they're all the first page. So hold on, we goofed and it didn't advance. I think I know why. I don't think this number here is correct. So let's run our get chords again. We'll come down here and we will left click. And then I'm just going to right click. That's going to give us our position again. For some reason, I had the wrong positions in here. So anyway, we'll just correct that really quick. 3509. Mistakes happen. It's programming, right? There. Let's see how that goes. I'm going to close this. We're going to go. Oh, we're in Book Archiver. Now, let's try again with the first 10 pages and see if that works. Delete these. Good. We did. Hey, now it's working. So if you notice, the mouse is now in the lower part of the screen. It's not getting screenshotted with the book pages. And it is clicking. It doesn't matter that it clicks down there. But I like to leave the click in there because it keeps the mouse in that position. If my mouse got bumped for some reason, it was off the page, this will just bring it back. And my book is now archived according to our program. And let's see what we got. All the pages of our book. In this case, just the first 10. And that's it. Like, you can run through the entire book this way and get the whole thing. And that's what we're going to do. I'm just going to let this go. We're going to get this started. Oops. Delete the old ones. I'm back to the first page again, so we're starting over from scratch. And I'm going to go page 198. Okay. Save it. And then I'm going to run this through. It's going to get all the pages. And I will just let this go. And I'll fast forward so you don't have to sit through all this. Enjoy. Oh, all right. And we are done. Your book is archived, it says. And you can see I have got every single page of the book. So that's great. Now you have the whole book stored locally, all separate images. And that's neat. Let me give you a little taste, little teaser of how we're going to be able to use these later. All right, so close all this guy out. Here's what I like to do, and I'm probably going to do a second video showing you how to create a program that will take all the images and stitch them all together into chapters, which is really handy as well. A little more involved, but totally not not required for what we did. So if I bring up the images that I just made, what we can do is we can add these guys to OneNote. This is what I really like to do with my digital books. So if I take, let's see, where does the chapter start? I'm just gonna guess it starts right here. And then we can start adding these notes, adding these pages to OneNote. And here's why I like to do this. This really helps for studying and everything else. I'm just going to drag all these into OneNote. And now, in OneNote, I can use the draw tool, and I can highlight. Like say, oh, look at this. This is really important stuff here. Oh, I'm holding the wrong key. There. So I can make highlight regions. I can draw arrows, so I can say, oh, this is probably related to this or whatever. We can add little notes and say, this page is really important. P-R-T-O-R-T-A-N-T. This is really important. Okay. And then, of course, we can size and color, do all the things that we want to do with the book. It's as if you had a physical book on hand that you can draw in, write in, highlight, do all the things. And this is what I think is lacking in most digital books. And this is why we built this. So I'll give you a little taste, though. If we, here's what we'll build for next time. So we're going to say chapter 1. And actually don't have this thing built yet, but here's another example of a book that I had done previously. Let's see. Archiver pages, chapters. This is what we will do next time. We will bring this guy in chapters. Why would we do that? Because having them in chapters is way nice. And we can take all those images that we had and we can stitch them all together into a single chapter. And so it's just one image. It all works really well. So we're going to do that next time. But for now, that's all I've got. Hope you got some value out of this. Maybe you want to start archiving your own digital books. If you did, I hope it helps. And that's all I've got. Thank you very much for watching.